If he was a female singer in the 70s, he would have been Darren Carpenter. But he's Darren Casey instead.
That's great, Tony.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
How
It
going?
is. It is. It touches great heights.
Darren Carpenter.
Yeah.
We did a joke, or I did a joke at you that had... We're talking about singing or something.
Singing?
And it had Karen Carpenter in it.
Oh, maybe it did. I don't know.
It's pretty poor taste.
Oh, well, oh, you did too. Yeah, I remember that. That was a good joke.
But it was funny, you know.
Yeah, it was. It passed the funny test.
It was signature segment.
Yeah.
It was segment material.
It made the best of.
But a you segment material.
Well, I guess we'll know at the end of the segment. And if not, we'll scrub the whole thing and pretend it never existed.
Good answer. So, what have you been doing?
Well,
other than looking at jet books, playing with jets, I reckon you spend a lot of your time with an aeroplane in your hand.
Yeah.
Just going, do you do that?
What about the machine gun sound effects?
Yeah.
Give us your machine gun.
On other planes, and then it falls out of the...
But give us your machine gun sound effect.
My machine gun sound effect? There's a few that get like that, or...
Okay. Well, the first one is kind of more like a cannon than a machine gun. And the second one is probably a G8AU Gatling gun fitted to an A10.
God, so military.
Yeah. Yeah. The first one had a low rate of fire. The other one, much higher rate, as many as 4,200 rounds a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gatling.
Yeah, Gatling.
He knew his business, didn't he?
He did. He was an actual guy.
Who do you think you are? Gatling or something?
Yeah.
We talked about AI last week, briefly.
Yeah.
They reckon, I see one of those fabulous headlines, there's a 50-50 chance that AI will kill us. There it is, right there.
Yeah.
I think that is actually a headline produced by AI.
Yeah.
But that was a headline.
Yep.
I think I'm reading, I get my news from a website that I think it's all generated by AI because, I don't know, there are patterns in what I see. If I click on things, I think it just generates articles.
Yeah,
for example, if I click on an article about Collingwood, well, this is English, so it's, say, Chelsea, the soccer club that I follow. So I'll click on an article about Chelsea, and there's been a few because they've been terrible. And so it knows that I follow Chelsea. So now it'll give me an article, but it'll be, it might say, radio guy Tony Moclair doesn't know anything about Chelsea. You know, it just wants me to click on anything that's Chelsea.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It's figured you out.
This stuff, you know. And I think that's AI's doing that.
Yeah.
It's just inventing soccer stories that the headline will say something about Chelsea, but if you actually read it, it's not about Chelsea.
It's been doing that for years.
About a guy who's not going to play for Chelsea.
Right. And so if it said this article is not about Chelsea, you'd still hit on it, wouldn't you?
Yeah, because it wouldn't say it that obviously. It would trick me.
Right.
But I don't mind being tricked, but I don't like this 50-50 chance that it's going to kill me.
Keep in mind that was probably written by AI, so the real chance is more like 100%. Yeah,
well, I prefer to play the 50-50, but I'm imagining that they're going to invent a robot that can toss a coin. And one robot's going to have a gun aimed at your head, and the other robot's going to go, well, heads or tails.
God, please
and
no.
Flick a coin. That's what's going to happen. So there's a 50-50 chance they're going to kill us.
Yeah.
There's a 60-40 chance they're just going to take us into the forest and make us dig a hole with a bag on our head.
Yeah.
But just to scare us. And there's a 1 in 10 chance they're going to kind of wiggle their fingers under our chin and poke us in the eye and go like that. 1 in 10.
Right. I like those chances.
Like that.
Yep. Okay.
That's what I think about all that sort of
I
stuff.
thought that'd be more like a 1 in 3 Stooges chance. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It could be.
Yep.
Are you reading any books or just jet books?
No, I was reading a book about the Battle of the Bismarck Sea, about naval power in World War II. And then another one about a bloke who flew the Meteor in Korea. He had an interesting life. He crashed a Mustang on a beach.
Wow.
Yeah. Because something went wrong with the aircraft, and he just ends up, it's somehow survived. It was insane what this guy's been through.
Have you read about Charles? Now I've forgotten his name.
Charles Aznavour, Charles in Charge.
Charles Aznavour,
Yeah.
Kingsford Smith.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Darren, I remember when you read that book and you told me about transferring oil from one engine to the other.
Yes, crawling out on the wing and crazy stuff that guy did.
And
he was scared of heights and scared of water. He was the first guy to fly across the Pacific.
And they did it on wicker seats that they had in the aircraft.
Yep. And there were 2 other guys in the plane with them that they said it was a radio guy, and the radio conked out about 20 minutes into the air of a sort of a 4-day flight, and the navigators, I don't know, his map blew out of his hand or something.
Right, so they're dead freight.
The wind just took his map, so I don't know what they were doing. They were radioing ships and stuff. It was mental. It was the 30s, I think, late 20s. But, yeah, that's a story and a half of that guy. But he stacked on an island, and to get out, he didn't have enough runways on some Pacific island, and he tied the plane to a palm tree. And there was another guy there with an axe, and he started revving the engine while it was tied to a tree.
Yeah.
And he got it sort of airborne because he didn't have enough runway.
Wow.
And it sort of lifted up off the ground, and he said, when I wave, cut the rope.
Yep.
And he sort of got it up, I don't know how far off the ground, and he said, now, and the guy cut the rope, and he sort of took off and was able to take off that way. They reckon he was a genius.
That's a heart and mouth kind of. Oh, you'd be talking to your travel agent about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he'd do that drink a beer while standing on his head thing as well.
Oh, yeah.
Made him really popular.
Well,
that's Can you do that?
No, but is that the real reason we put him on a $20 note all those years ago?
I don't know. Was he on a lobster, was he?
As far as I know, he was, yeah. I could be wrong. He was definitely on an Australian currency. He wouldn't be any more, of course.
Well, I don't think I've ever had... I never had any money, Tony, so...
Oh, Darren.
I was pretty poor, so...
Right.
You're showing me up there a bit.
Sorry about that.
I was reading that that Chinatown in Melbourne was fading a bit.
Oh, yeah?
You know anything about that?
No, I didn't.
There are more attractive Chinese enclaves further out in the suburbs, and maybe the inner city one, the Burke Street one's not as part of it anymore. But I remember there used to be a German restaurant in the middle of Chinatown. Do you remember that?
No, I don't. I'd never heard of that before. You need to tell me.
Well, I don't know if it's still there, but there used to be a German restaurant kind of right in Chinatown. And you'd see the guy, he'd have a red sort of dragon dressing gown, but a hat with a feather in it, and buckled shoes. So you'd go, you're not Chinese. And then, it was a German. I always thought it was odd that there was this German restaurant.
What were they serving? German Peking duck and German dumplings and German black bean with soy sauce and
German black bean
nut.
sauce, German Peking duck, German... I don't know.
Well, that's that old joke then. The problem, they used to say it was about Chinese food, but the problem with eating at a German Chinese restaurant is 5 days later you're hungry for power again.
That's brilliant.
That's the old joke.
That's the old.
It's not mine.
There it is, right there.
Right there. That's just come together perfectly.
Would they serve Spam?
Oh, I'll tell you what, the waiters would be very good at following orders.
Yeah. I watched a lady in Aldi buy about 10 cans of Spam.
Well, you know this, Darren, and there's a Pacific island where the bigger the pile of Spam outside the front of your house is, the more of a bigwig you are. It's a true story.
Where is this place?
Somewhere in the Pacific. Samoa or somewhere like that.
They get into some funny stuff in the Pacific. There's some funny dietary stuff going on there.
Yes.
I heard about lamb. They used to go for a product called lamb flaps, which was this very fatty part of the lamb that they can't sell anywhere else. But they were really popular in a Pacific island, and they said that they'd run down to the wharf when the ship pulled in with all the lamb flaps, they were called. I don't know what part of the lamb it is, but they're only 3% meat. And
so what? They were they were eating a bit as far as these guys thought.
Yeah, they really love this stuff. This is great. And then they heard that it was 3% meat, and they said, "Oh, that's good."
Right. Okay.
Better than nothing.
Yeah.
Mm.
So was it just the result of the very early and successful Sam Kekovich campaign?
Could have been.
Yeah.
It's hard to know. Hard to know. Hey, speaking of eating odd stuff, so I'm watching this a documentary, and it was set in African doco, and hang on, I gotta get it. I wrote it down. So the music comes on, ching, 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 and you see the lion roaring and a waterfall and a truck in mud, and and it just says Africa, vibrant, uncontained, Africa. And then this is Kinshasa, the capital of the DR Congo, largest, this blurb, largest French-speaking city in the world. And it says, the streets are bustling with activity. Many people take on multiple jobs to get by. Among them are couriers, street sweepers, maggot sellers, and jewelers.
Right.
And we just toggle just there. We go, hang on.
Wait a minute.
What is that? Maggot sellers. And there's a woman at a little roadside store with this massive basket of maggots. And they're still alive. They're all wiggling. Oh, yeah. And they're really big. They're about half the size of a memory stick.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was sitting at my desk thinking, I want to be able to explain to Tony how big these maggots are. And I'm thinking, what? And I'm looking at things. Yeah. Well, they're bigger than a pencil.
Yeah.
They're, and nowhere near as big as, a banana. Not that I had a banana on my desk, but, half the size of a memory stick, but like as thick as your finger.
Okay. Maggots. Right.
And I thought, I've missed my calling.
Okay.
I could have been a maggot seller.
Yeah. Tell us how that would have happened.
Well, I would have had a straitjacket on.
Yeah.
And I'd be going, all these maggots have to go. I'd be flapping around, bumping into people. I've gone mad. All these maggots have to go. But I'm ambitious, Tony, so I wouldn't have like a little stall. I'd have a massive warehouse on the outskirts of town and call it Maggot World.
You have to.
Wouldn't I? And I'd have one of those flapping a big flapping air-filled maggot in a top hat. And a jumping maggot for the kiddies. Yeah, you know what I'm doing now with those maggots. And people would come in, and I'd be someone.
Yep.
I go, that's the maggot king.
Right.
And when I went to restaurants, I'd put a maggot in the waiter's top pocket. Just to make him look after me for the night, and I'd sort of pat it a bit. Yeah, James, you're going to look after us tonight, aren't you? While I was easing maggots into his pocket. Yeah, Mr. Casey.
That is magnificent.
That's Darren Casey, the maggot king. And of course, there'd be the dark underside. If anyone, like I'd be the only one selling any decent maggots.
Yeah, of course.
No one else, everyone else would just be, they go, these maggots are inferior, and they go, well, go see Casey. He's the only guy with any quality. Yep. He buys up all the good stuff. Yeah. This is all we've got. Right. We fight over scraps. Can't compete with that guy.
You'd be the Bill Gates of maggots.
Yeah. How many times can we say the word maggot?
As many times as we like.
Yeah. I like it when you like that. So I was reading a book. Quotes. We'll get away from maggots now. We can always come back to maggots.
Yeah, okay, good.
Reserve that right. I was reading a book about corruption in India.
Yeah.
And it's rampant, like most of the world. But anyway, a politician was saying that it's become India is so corrupt that even bribes don't get you what you want.
Oh my God! Really?
Yeah. So that's quite a good little quote. And in England, someone was saying that due to all the ideology struggles that are going on over there, that people are now fighting for the right, like with free speech, people are fighting for the right to say reasonable things.
Not reasonable, not extreme things, but reasonable things.
Yeah, people are actually fighting for the right to say reasonable things.
Oh, God help us.
So I thought I'd share those with you.
Oh, okay.
But what about those maggots, eh?
Ah, the maggots there.
Yeah.
Okay, thank God for the maggots.
Yeah, maggots.
I'm just wondering, at Crazy Darren's Maggot World, is your hunt... you've got a loyalty card, I'm assuming, and every 10th maggot is free? I don't know how would that work.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
We've got all that.
Right, great.
All that going on.
Right.
And at the footy, if you don't like the umpire, you can just go, white maggots! And when the cop tries to throw you out, you go, no, Officer Wokeism, I'm just ordering my lunch. You can't lose.
No, you can't.
It's good stuff, isn't it?
That's great. That's about time.
Hey, do you fall for those, you see those things that says only people with high IQs can do this test? Do you get sucked in by that?
No, I don't.
What about when it says you've got to be really smart to get this quiz?
Oh, I'll have a crack at a quiz. Problem solving, I'm not great, but, I always think, all right, well, if I get 1 out of 6, I'm happy. Depends how low you set the bar.
But aren't they a con?
Yes.
Because I can't get them. Well, I just don't do them anymore. I just think it's a con. It's like an ad for socks or something.
Oh, okay. So what are you... Hang on, they're putting these out in the hope that they will entice Darren Casey, and Darren Casey isn't biting.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think they're trying to con people into just clicking on whatever it is.
Right. Okay, because of ego.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
That's what I think's going on.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think there's anything to be solved. Only people with high brain power. That was one I read yesterday.
Oh, yeah, all right.
High brain power.
Well...
Oh, well. Anyway, look, I've got to go. It's been great. You know how South America, wealthy people are always being kidnapped.
Yes.
And it's got to the point now where anyone with any money just gets kidnapped.
Okay.
So there's just non-stop kidnapping. So if you kidnap someone and you get your ransom, then you get kidnapped.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
And you just get kidnapped. It's just... If you win Tats Lotto, you go down to the newsagents, you get your check, and the ransom note's written on the back. They've already got your grandma. It's brutal. People just make their own video. Their own ransom video.
What's the point in winning Lotto?
Yeah,
That's so
what's the point of having
depressing.
any money? Anyway, that's just stupid.
That's just Darren.
I don't know. Look, I'll bid you a maggoty goodbye, and
Right.
thanks for having me.
Well, thank you, Crazy Darren from Crazy Darren's Maggot Warehouse World.
Gotta go.
Just look for the inflatable maggot. Thanks, Darren.
See you later.